Hey friends, welcome to the Swing My Heart podcast. Come join me, your host Nicole, for some hope-filled conversations about heartfelt entertainment that makes your heart swing. Hey Hallmarkies, welcome to the Swing My Heart podcast. I'm your host Nicole, and today I'm joined by my friend Christina to talk about Christmas Island, starring Andrew Walker, Rachel Scarston, Jefferson Brown, Peter McNeil, Lauren Hammersley, Brett Loader, Lincoln McNeil, and Kate Drummond. It was written by Samantha Herman and directed by David Weaver. When a snowstorm diverts Kate's first private flight to Christmas Island, she must team up with an air traffic controller to secure her dream job as the family's pilot. Welcome back to the podcast, Christina. I'm excited to have you on today.
I'm happy to be here. Thanks for having me.
Of course. To start off, how about we talk about our merry musings, which are our overall thoughts or hot takes from the movie. Would you like to go first?
Sure. Overall, I really enjoyed this movie. I loved like the playfulness, like the banter between
Yeah.
them, like how Kate was a strong, independent like woman, and so like they butt heads at
Yeah.
first, but had that playful banter.
Yeah.
I thought it was full of really good life lessons,
Yeah.
and just that it brought a little piece of reality
Yes.
into it, that this family that has that fame and stuff, there's so much drama within it. So
Yeah. Agreed. I thought it was a well-written script by Samantha. And, we had lots of comedy and we had some romance thrown in there and some tear-jerking moments as well.
yes.
The chemistry between Andrew and Rachel was, wow, it was fantastic.
Yeah. Yeah, I think they were like great balance between each
Yeah.
other.
Yes. And even the ensemble cast, like everyone else, I thought did a great job too and had wonderful chemistry as well.
Yes, definitely.
Yes.
I thought like the Maggie's son Shane and Callie would like be closer, so that
Yeah.
like threw me off. Like that was a twist, like because I was
Yeah.
expecting that Hallmark like moment for the teens,
Yeah.
but that didn't happen.
Yeah. Maybe if we get a sequel to this movie, we can see that.
Yeah, fingers crossed.
Yeah. I actually would like to see another movie with these characters because the ending of the movie left it open for more. I mean, I could see Oliver and Kate traveling together, after him getting over his fear of flying.
Yeah, it really
Spoiler alert
shows that.
for the end.
It re it really shows like
Yeah.
that. Like if you really love and care about someone, you'll like face your fears to just to be with them. And that was
Yes.
beautiful.
Yes. And Samantha, if you're listening, we would love a sequel to this movie because you did a great job.
Yes.
Going into our holiday highlights, which are the best or key moments, would you like to start off with some of yours?
All right. So my first like key moment was when after she got denied clearance to fly into like JFK and stuff, and when she landed, it just so happened to be like a small town in
Yep.
Nova Scotia, and it just happened to be where Oliver lived. And just her not even knowing that it was him, he didn't say
Yeah.
anything about it. And so, and then, so that was really a key moment for me. Like that little twist, even though you can predict it by the
Yeah.
trailer. But, I also, Finn's heartfelt and eye-opening letter to Santa
Oh,
when
yeah.
Callie read that. And that was a tearjerker moment for me, just
Yeah.
because it was an eye opener for her, for Callie, to realize that she was doing the same thing that her mom was doing to
Mm-hmm.
her and her brother,
Yeah.
and just how that unfolded,
Mm-hmm.
and then how um, the vulnerability in the lighthouse,
Mm-hmm.
when Kate and Oliver were chatting about like the loss of Kevin and
Mm-hmm.
how like the weather, that's why Oliver takes his job so
Yeah.
seriously. And then her opening up about the loss of her dad and how
Mm-hmm.
they even had that moment after the tree decorating. And he was making an admission to bring back Christmas for her.
Yeah.
And that was
Yeah.
really beautiful.
Yes, it
And
was.
then like another like and then the key moment is when like they had their like first kiss, obviously,
Mm-hmm.
and how he Oliver was like, I didn't even have to tell Santa my like Christmas wish, it came true.
Yeah.
And when she told him what she wished Santa, like she wanted Santa to let Oliver know how happy she was, like that was
Mm-hmm.
her Christmas wish.
Yeah.
I thought that was so beautiful and touching. And
Yeah.
then, like the very ending, where he's
Mm-hmm.
like, "I'm gonna face my fear of flying just so that we
Yeah.
can make it work out." Like that
Yeah.
was those were my key moments.
Yeah.
What
That
about
was
you?
really sweet. And since you already mentioned it, the first kiss, I was like, okay, I think I need a fan for this.
I agree. I was like, "Wow, they got some really good kisses." I was
Yeah, I think
like,
we got two, maybe two or three.
"Yeah,
Yeah, it was a good
yeah,
one for a first
yeah."
kiss for them. And
Yeah, normally it would be like awkward, but this was so like full of passion.
yeah, we talked a little bit about the scene when she first gets diverted because of the storm, but the snarky dialogue between Oliver and Kate was hilarious when she said, Life's a beach up here. No reindeer sightings yet. I'm just about to serve our passengers hot chocolate and eggnog. Ride report, please. This isn't comedy hour. And she said, and that wasn't a joke, by the way. And but if I think of one, I'll let you know. Why do I feel like this is going to be a long show?
Had me laughing out loud when I first
Yeah.
saw it. Like,
Yes.
it was
Yeah.
just so funny. And then right after that, like it cuts to when she gets diverted to and one of my favorite quotes was, "Well, you're just the bearer of bad news, aren't you?" Like,
Mm-hmm. Yep. Yep.
and
And
his reaction, his facial expression was hilarious.
yes, it was. I agree. I enjoyed the first car ride into town. I thought there were some nice moments in that. He is talking about how Christmas Island got its name and all the mail bags Jim was carrying. All the kids love getting their Christmas Island postage stamp in the mail. And we also hear that Kate didn't really love Christmas growing up, but we don't know why yet, but we will later on in the movie. And the car breaks down, of course. And that is because of a loose wire. And Oliver doesn't want her to help, but of course she does. And she fixes it. And I love when he says, oh, okay, be my guest. Sure.
Yeah. He
Uh,
was like, "No, no one's touching this." And
no
she's
one's
like,
touching
she
my
didn't
car.
care. She didn't
Yeah.
care. She just went in. And that's when
Yes.
he said that.
Yes.
It shows that she's independent and
Yeah.
has that capability. Like she knows what she's
Yes.
doing.
Yeah. I loved the first town meeting too, when the mayor Maggie is talking about the candy making event the following day and the annual lobster trap tree memorial lighting on Christmas Eve. And then Jim gives a speech about the Christmas postcard initiative, which I thought was nice. And then Maggie hears that the Sharp family is in town, and of course, she's a big fan, and she gives them a shout out. And then Oliver gives a message that nobody is leaving the island. This, of course, does not make the Sharps happy. And when Thomas offers to pay Jim for accommodations, he's like, give me an email that I can transfer funds to you with. Yeah, okay, you ready? It's I am not TAKING your money at gym.com.
That was hilarious. And I
Yes.
thought it was like a clever way to deny someone's payment.
Yeah. I thought it was sweet on both sides, like how Thomas wanted to pay Jim, but then Jim didn't want to take the money.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it just shows like Jim's hospitality,
Yes.
but also like Thomas and the Sharps, they don't want to
Mhm.
like freeload just
Yes.
because like,
Yeah.
they know that they can afford to pay.
Yes. That's very true. A funny moment I have written down is when they're at the house and it is Helen and Callie. They're sitting down at the kitchen table and Helen is telling her to go outside with her brother. And she's like, Mom, he's catching snowflakes with his tongue. Do you know how unhygienic that is?
I that threw me off the first time because I wouldn't have used unhygienic as like the first word as
Yeah,
like I would have been like, oh, that's so childish or like
yeah,
whatever. But so when I like rewatched it and I caught that she said unhygienic, I was like, that's very mature for her age.
yes, I agree. Did you ever do that when you were a kid? Catch
Oh,
snowflakes?
absolutely. Yeah, I now live in Florida, but
Yeah.
from when I was 6, we actually moved from Florida to Colorado, and
Hmm.
so I remember all the like seeing snow and like having snow days, and always like trying to catch snowflakes on my tongue or like building a snow fort.
Oh,
Um,
that's awesome.
I I wasn't good at like building a snowman. I wasn't ever successful, but one year we had enough snow that we actually had a
Hmm.
few neighborhood kids on a snow day.
Yeah.
We all like built a fort in our yards. So
Hmm.
it's cool.
Yeah. Yeah.
Did you ever do it? You get snow in North Carolina, right? South
South
Carolina.
Carolina,
Sorry,
very
sorry, South
rarely,
Carolina.
very rarely because I'm near the coast or like
Oh, okay.
I live in the Charleston area. So Charleston is on the coast. So it very rarely snows here.
Oh, okay.
And when it does, it's like, I don't know, maybe an inch. It's not
Yeah,
enough to like hardly build a snowman or have a snowball fight,
yeah.
but
We just
that's
had to
okay.
live.
That's
We just
okay.
had to live the fantasy, the
Yes.
Christmas fantasy through the
Yes.
movies.
Yes. I have had a snowball fight before though and made snowmen. When it snowed here the first time since I was born, I guess, that I can actually remember. I mean, it might have snowed when I was a little kid and I just don't
Mhm.
remember that. But the first time I remember it snowing here was when I was older. I think I was in 10th grade. I made a little tiny miniature snowman. Like we got just enough for me to make a little miniature one. And then a couple years after that, or it might have been the year after that, we were at my grandmother's and it snowed there. And it was enough to make a little tiny one, but it was also enough to have a snowball fight with me and my cousins, which was a lot of fun, but it hurt. Like the snowballs
Oh
hurt.
yeah, they do. They do, especially if they're super packed.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's fun, but not gonna lie, that cold ice,
Yeah.
like frozen ice, hurts.
Oh yeah.
But you get good pictures out of the snow. So,
Oh yeah.
yeah,
Absolutely. I miss it.
yes. I also really loved the candy making scene and then the scene after it. For the candy making, they are using an old family recipe that's over 100 years old with barley toys and chicken bones. And then we see Callie meet Shane, who is Oliver's nephew. And then Kate helps Finn. I thought that was a sweet little moment. And Kate burns her hand, unfortunately, trying to make the candy. And Oliver offers to help her, but she declines, of course. And I laughed when she said, just Christmas someone else.
Yeah, she was not for it.
No. Oh my goodness. Do you have any family recipes that you use every year around the holidays?
Um, uh, my family has this like lemon Christmas cookie,
Mm-hmm.
and it's so good. It's very time consuming to
Oh,
uh do, but that's like my one of my favorite like traditions from growing up is like making those because we only have it like this time of year, and just spending time making the dough and stuff, and
yeah,
then of course like the fun part is decorating and
yeah.
stuff. But yeah, that's like a lot of our other recipes are from like other like family,
Mm-hmm.
like other people's families
Yeah.
and stuff. But my favorite thing is actually called appetizer pie,
Mm-hmm.
which is like a dip for like crackers. So we
Mm-hmm.
use wheat thins or Triscuits,
Oh,
and
wow.
it has dry beef, green pepper, sour cream, cream cheese, crushed walnuts and stuff.
Oh, that
And it's like a hot dip, and it's I request it every year for the holidays. And
that
then
does sound good.
um we have this like punch that we make called red velvet punch, and it's
Yeah.
cranberry juice, pineapple juice, orange juice,
Mm-hmm.
ginger ale, lemon juice, so it has that tartness to it. But those are
Oh,
my favorites.
that does sound good.
Yeah. What about your recipes, your family recipes?
Hmm, that's tough. Well, I know for Thanksgiving, it's not our family's recipe, but we always make a really good sweet potato casserole from Joanna Gaines' cookbook.
Ooh,
And it's got marshmallows on top of it. It's really good.
oh, that sounds really good.
Yes. And then, of course, the usual green bean casserole. And that's one of my favorite holiday
Yeah.
dishes. And cranberry sauce, that's another favorite.
Yeah. I love the green bean casserole.
Yes.
I just
Yeah.
started making them
Yes.
because I thought they were more complex than they actually are. But
Yeah.
I love the fried onions on top
Oh,
of
yeah.
the green bean casserole.
Yeah, those are good too. And for Christmas, in the way of like sweets, I think one of my aunts, I don't know if she's going to do it this year, but she's usually made gingerbread cookies from her own recipe, I think, which are always
Ooh,
good. And then I think one of my other aunts makes ginger snap cookies, if I remember correctly.
ooh,
And then one of my cousins and we normally make just like a regular sugar cookie, but from the grocery store, like with the pre-made dough.
yeah.
And sometimes we'll make chocolate chip, but the sugar cookies are fun because we can decorate them.
Yeah. Yeah. Have you ever made one of those big like fruit pizzas with the sugar cookie dough?
Uh-uh. No.
Oh, it's fun, and like around like certain holidays you can
Hmm.
just do like it's just a big like
Yeah.
sugar cookie dough, and then you make it into round like a pizza,
Mhm.
and then you put like a cream cheese frosting on it, and
Oh,
then
that
you
does
just
sound
pick
good.
out the fruits that you want, and you can make a Christmas one, like do like a Christmas design on top.
Yeah. That sounds good. I'll have to try that sometime.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
easy to make too.
Yeah. I'm sure it is. It probably doesn't take a lot of time to do that.
Yeah, I the most time consuming part is decorating because you
Yeah.
want to like place everything.
Yes. Jumping back a scene, I have to mention this because this was my favorite kind of comical moments in the movie. It's before they leave for the candy making, and Kate and Oliver are talking about wearing the Santa hat. He puts it on her, and then, he does his little Santa hat flip, which I thought was hilarious. And he's like, let the festivities begin.
That was one of my favorites. Like his facial expressions were great throughout like the movie, but that
Yeah.
like the way he did his whole like hat flip was amazing.
Yes. Yep. That was awesome. And I have to say, when Andrew Walker tells you to wear a Santa hat, you wear a Santa hat.
Absolutely.
Yes,
Absolutely.
that was a
Who
great
could say
moment.
no to that?
No. Oh my gosh. And I'm jumping all over the place, but going to the scene after the candy making when they're outside and Maggie shows up after Helen has showed up, and she asks if she would consider being an honorary ambassador for the lobster trap tree lighting. And then they talk about the tree lighting, and I thought it was really beautiful to hear that tradition, which is there are a lot of lobster fishermen in town, and they round up all the traps, stack them on top of each other, make a tree, and decorate it with buoys. And each buoy is inscribed with somebody from the community that was lost at sea. And one of those people is Shane's father, who has been gone about 5 years. I thought that was really beautiful.
Yeah, I thought that was a very beautiful way to
Yeah.
pay like respect. And I actually did some real life research
Mhm.
and I found out that they actually do this in real life. Um,
Wow, that's awesome.
yeah, there's actually quite a few lobster trap trees
Yeah.
around like Northeast America and then Canada. But they really do have that tradition of placing the uh, people lost at sea, like the
Wow,
fishermen lost at sea,
that's beautiful.
names on the buoys. So that was very touching to know that it was in real life. And
Yeah.
I love that this movie was actually filmed in Nova Scotia. It
Yeah.
was like I read that it was entirely filmed in Nova Scotia, which
Yeah.
typically it's like a place and then it's really Vancouver, like
Hmm.
a different place. So it was really nice. And I actually have a friend from Nova Scotia. So I was
That's
telling him
amazing.
about this movie. And when he was like, oh, I bet it's filmed here, I looked it up and sure enough, it was like Lunenburg. And
Mhm.
I told him about Peggy's Cove, which is the real life lighthouse.
Mhm.
And he said that was the landmark for Nova Scotia.
Wow, that's awesome.
So, so they
That's
really tied in key parts that were special to Nova Scotia. So that to me was really special.
yeah, I agree. Samantha did a great job with this script.
Yeah. And Christmas Island is a real place, actually.
I think I have heard that. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's
It has
amazing.
a population of 300 people, but
Wow.
like it's a tiny community in Nova Scotia. I mean, there's multiple Christmas Islands, but
Yeah,
there is a Christmas Island, Nova Scotia, and that
that's
was really
amazing.
cool.
That's amazing. It kind of made me laugh when Helen says, "We're not still going to be here, right?" And Kate is like, "I don't know because I've been banned from asking." As she looks at Oliver
Yes.
in a
That
little way.
Yeah, that was so funny. I
Yeah.
mean, you gotta like there's a certain point where it's just like, no,
Mhm.
like I'll tell you when it's ready, but no,
Yeah.
not
Yes.
yet.
Going to the lighthouse scene, I thought it was sweet how Oliver tells Finn how the lighthouse works and then about the reindeer practicing their flight formations for Christmas Eve.
Yeah.
And then we hear a little talk with Oliver and Kate, and it's his favorite spot in town. And Kate says it's like your own fortress of solitude. And
Mm,
likes to go there and unwind after a stressful day. And then she shares her dream of how becoming a pilot started. She was raised by a single dad after her mom left. He was a pilot and gone a lot, so she spent time with her grandparents. And unfortunately, she lost her dad when she was a teenager on the day before Christmas. And she still wears his flight pin for luck. So that is why Kate doesn't like Christmas as much, because she lost her dad, which is sad.
Yeah, very sad.
Yeah.
I love that scene because it just was so in the moment, like that open and honesty, because they felt like they were close enough and
Mm-hmm.
and Finn was distracted looking for reindeer. And so it gave Oliver and Kate a time to open up and be real with each other. And then when Oliver pulls out the first aid kit and
Yeah,
treats her burn,
that
like
was sweet.
finally, it
Yeah.
was so sweet.
Yeah,
And
that was sweet. Another top favorite moment in this movie was when they are all at the house decorating the tree. I thought that was really nice. And Oliver comes in and he says, "Who wants to spruce the spruce?" And Callie says, "Isn't it a fir?" And he responds with, "Making a fir fancy doesn't sound as catchy." And I thought the moment when we see all of them put ornaments on the tree was really nice.
yeah, I love that Helen saw that it was really important to
Yeah,
Callie and Finn that she participated, even though she was like, no, I'm
yeah,
preoccupied. She finally took the time to,
yeah. Oliver and Kate have a talk on the stairs, and she is saying how the tree lighting reminds her of her dad. And since Oliver has a lot of free time, Kate suggests he work on his automotive skills, and his project for her is getting Christmas back. And I loved that moment between them. I thought that was very nice.
yeah, speaks of his character.
Yes, it does. We get a couple scenes with this, but the Christmas Island Christmas tour I thought was nice. Oliver and Kate visit Santa, and she tells Santa her wish. And then Oliver tries to get Kate to share what her wish was, and she's just like not budging, which is totally okay. I understand that. And then they have lunch at Donna's Lobster Shack, and he shares about his fear of flying. He doesn't like the idea of not having any control. And he went to university in Halifax, and his mom got sick during his senior year. He came back home to take care of her and needed a job, so he got one at the airport. Kate mentions not staying in one place for too long, and I love when Oliver says, "You just have to choose what makes you happiest." That was a great line
Yeah, definitely.
and very good advice, even for anyone who watches this movie. You should do
Yeah,
what makes you
exactly.
happy. Yeah.
Yeah. I love the pancakes
I
that
was about to mention that. Yeah.
Donna,
The
oh,
festive
sorry.
flapjacks.
Yes. And she's like, I'm gonna crush these.
Yes. Yep. With real Canadian maple syrup.
Oh,
Do you have a favorite pancake flavor that you like to eat? I know that there can be stuff that you put in pancakes.
yeah. So seasonal,
Mhm.
I'm a huge fan of pumpkin.
Yeah.
And so I love pumpkin pancakes, and
Oh,
typically it's like a pumpkin
yeah.
pecan pancakes. So
Mhm.
those are technically my favorite, but year round I typically go for chocolate chip.
I love
Like
chocolate.
I'll eat pancakes anytime, but
Mhm.
like
Yeah.
um chocolate chip is pretty good. Or blueberries, but
Yeah.
simple syrup though.
Yes. We always buy a good maple syrup from the grocery store, and I think it's like real maple syrup. I can't remember the
Oh,
brand, but it's really good. But
ooh,
pancake wise, I love plain pancakes, of course, chocolate chip, blueberry. I've never had pumpkin, but that does sound really good.
I got it from Cracker Barrel
Yeah, I
and I
love
really
Cracker
liked
Barrel.
them.
I love
So
Cracker Barrel. And when we're in Nashville, you've probably heard of this place, the Pancake Pantry. They have some of the best
Oh yeah.
pancakes. And
Ooh.
my mom and I always share, I think it's the Caribbean pancakes with the strawberries and
Ooh.
the bananas on top of them and the powdered sugar.
Ooh. That sounds really good.
Yeah,
I'll have
really
to check
good.
that out next time I go.
Yes. Next time you're there, check out the Caribbean pancakes from the Pancake Pantry. They're really good.
I'll add it to my list.
Yes. We already mentioned part of this scene when Callie reads the letter to Santa from her brother, but at the end of the scene, we hear that the planes are still grounded and none of the letters are going to get to where they need to be on time. So Callie starts to show Jim funny videos to cheer him up because he's bummed about the whole situation, of course. And then she almost immediately thinks of an idea for the letters. And we hear that in the next scene. Her idea is going digital for the letters. And I thought that was great, using social media for good.
Yes.
Yeah.
And it modernizes it.
Yes.
It comes from a teen and it's just a way to implement it.
Yeah. Another favorite Oliver and Kate moment was when they are walking through town. And this was before we hear about Callie's idea. They are talking about Jim and how much he cares, what she's doing for the Sharps, and how she's helping them have a good Christmas. And then they mention that they're having a good Christmas. And Kate also says how much it's meant to her. And then they almost kiss when they're interrupted by Jim and Callie.
Yes. Honking at them.
Yes, I thought that was a nice moment between them. And I could feel
Yeah.
the sparks already.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, the build up.
Yes.
Another favorite scene was when Helen, I believe it was the following day, shows Kate, Maggie, and Callie the dresses she made for the Christmas Eve party. That was very nice and thoughtful.
Yeah, I thought it was special. I was wondering what her big like project was.
Mm-hmm.
Because you saw her glance at the sewing machine and just have that
Yeah.
idea in her mind. And I was like, okay, what is it gonna be? And I didn't expect it to be dresses. I thought it might be some like curtains or
Yeah.
something.
Mm-hmm.
Just,
I thought it was
but
nice.
the dresses were just so beautiful.
Yeah. Yeah. I also loved how Thomas encouraged her about doing more designing and being supportive of doing what makes her happy. I thought that was sweet.
Yeah, it was a great example of a supportive husband. And
Yes.
he's like,
Yeah.
we will work this out. Like,
Yeah.
um, this business, like, we are not happy. Like, it's not, basically, he was implying that it's just not worth it if she's not
Yeah.
happy. So let her design again.
Yeah. And we didn't get a whole lot of scenes with them together, but
Yeah.
I thought that Jefferson and Kate had a great chemistry as well as husband and wife, as a married couple.
Yeah, definitely. They were both nice. Like, instead of like, they were both busy,
Mm-hmm.
but like a lot of times it's like, oh, they're too busy and they're
Mm-hmm.
just like a little like stuck up or like arrogant and stuff. And
Yeah.
this time, like they both had personalities, and
Mm-hmm.
even though they were both working parents
Yeah.
and stuff, it was just a nicer way of they still had that chemistry, they still had this playfulness in them.
Yeah. Yes. I think Kate has been in a couple of Hallmark movies before. And I also have seen her on Heartland, which is a great show. And then Jefferson, I know from When Hope Calls. And I don't know if you watch it, but The Way Home.
Okay, I
Yeah.
have not seen those yet.
Yeah. He's a fantastic actor.
Okay.
And
Yeah, I recognized him immediately.
yeah. Yeah. He's great. And of course, Kate is too. But yeah,
Yes.
we get to the last few scenes in the movie. First, I'll mention the Christmas Eve party and tree lighting. I love when they are talking about the lobster trap tree and how Thomas helped put it together. And then Callie gives Finn Santa's reply to his letter, which I thought was very sweet. And
Yeah.
then we get Maggie's speech. And this is probably one of my top favorite quotes from the movie. And it's when she says, "There is nothing more important than family and community during the holidays." And that's very true.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah. Donna and Shane put up their buoys, which I thought was a nice, touching, beautiful moment.
Yeah.
And Oliver and Kate have a talk and they see the dance scene from her co-pilot Derek. That was hilarious.
And dancing with that older lady and just
Yes.
having a ball. Like he
Yeah.
didn't care that anyone was looking.
No. I mean, as the saying goes, dance like no one's watching.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And as long as you're having fun, that's what it's
Yeah.
really about.
Yes. Before we start to wrap up with the scenes in this movie, I have to say I loved the creativity of the lobster trap tree.
Yeah.
It was something
I
different, but I loved it.
Yeah, when I saw that, I was like, oh my gosh, that's amazing. And so,
Mhm.
yeah, I spent time researching
Yeah.
and stuff and found out that it really is something that's real. And I love
Yeah.
that it's not a traditional tree, but
Hmm.
it is what is important to the community
Yeah.
and it reflects that.
Yes. Agreed.
I love when Oliver gets the phone call that instead of, even though he was on a date with Kate,
Hmm.
like he didn't like lie about
Yeah.
the weather. He could have been like, "Oh, you can't leave until tomorrow," and
Hmm.
that could have caused drama.
Hmm.
Instead, even though he knew it was going to ruin his date, he knew it was like the right thing to do.
Yeah.
And I really appreciated that
Yeah.
honesty because a lot of Hallmark movies have that miscommunication
Hmm.
drama. And so I was expecting him to lie and then her to get mad, but he was like, okay, like you can go, like and
Yeah.
stuff.
Yeah. I'm glad that there wasn't like a big blow up fight like there is in a lot of these movies.
Exactly.
Yeah. And I thought it was interesting in a good way how when Kate lets Helen know, Helen doesn't seem happy about it. Like she
Yeah.
doesn't want to go to Switzerland anymore. And of course, we see them packing up and heading out. Kate leaves a note for Maggie because it was Maggie's home that she stayed in. And she says, "Thank you for opening your home. I hope you know it meant more to me than I could ever express. Merry Christmas to you and your remarkable family, Kate." And then we get a talk with Jim and Callie. I thought was sweet when they're talking about the postcards and the letters, and Callie created a social media account. So he has no excuse but to stay in touch.
Yes.
I thought that was sweet. And
Yeah.
Thomas gives Jim a donation to the memorial fund, which I thought was so thoughtful. And
Yeah.
we see Helen give Kate the pilot position permanently. And I loved that.
Yeah. That was really sweet. She's like,
Yeah.
you went above and beyond for us. And
Yeah.
even though she didn't like get them to Switzerland on time or days prior, I mean, it was out of her control, but they knew that and they offered. Like, she became a part of the family.
Yeah. Very true. Yeah. Maggie has a talk with Oliver at the lighthouse. It's very brief, but, Maggie's like, "What are you doing? Go after her." And of course, go after her, he does. And Kate is literally about to like start driving, start taking the plane down the runway when Oliver comes on over the radio and he says, I couldn't let you leave without telling you how I feel.
Yeah.
Melt my heart into a puddle, Andrew Walker.
I know, what a way to like just because she was sad
Yeah,
and just to have that like right at the last minute he
yeah,
comes in or on the speaker
yeah,
and then she's like, can we take a few seconds just to say hi to him?
yeah. That was very sweet. I loved that. And then the Sharps decide to stay on Christmas Island through the new year. And I love when Helen says, and Kate, go get your Oliver. And she actually does. And I love that. I was like,
Yeah.
yes.
I was not expecting her to say that, so it just showed her like fun side, and she's like,
Yeah.
"Go get him! Like we support it." So
Yeah. I will say, towards the beginning of the movie, Helen kind of got on my nerves just a little bit with it being
mhm.
all about work, but then she kind of grew on me as the movie went along.
I absolutely agree.
Yeah.
It made me frustrated, and I did think that she would come out of her shell more, or
Yeah.
like out of that and take that motherly role.
Hmm.
But it was nice to see that she did see like she found her passion for
Yeah.
designing again, and she realized the value of family.
Yes. And I think that was the whole point of why she was that way in the beginning,
Yeah,
to teach viewers a lesson,
yeah,
to, make time for those you love.
yeah.
And the last part of this movie, I have to mention it. Oliver and Kate decide to try and make things work, and she agrees to help him face his fear of flying. And then they share a kiss, and I loved the Sharp family's reaction. That was priceless.
Yeah.
And Callie covering Finn's eyes.
It was nice to see their support, but also
Yes.
that like kids don't want to see this. Like,
Yes.
no,
Yeah.
keep him innocent.
Yeah. Moving into our ratings on a scale of 1 to 10, what would you rate the plot and script?
I would rate it. Ooh, it's a good one. I would rate it a 9. I love
Okay.
that it was something different. Like
Mm-hmm.
it wasn't that traditional
Yeah.
Hallmark. I loved the plot that there was multiple layers to the story, that it was about family, it
Mm-hmm.
was about friendships like Jim and Callie, how
Yeah.
like that was like a like because he's like a grandfather to
Mm-hmm.
like Callie, and seeing that like friendship build, even though like I
Yeah.
was expecting her to be better friends with Shane. And so we got a love story, we got a family, and then we got family and friends. Like
Yeah.
I really liked having a different, unique story.
Yeah. Me too. For chemistry, what would you rate it on a scale of 1 to 10?
Between all the characters or just Oliver and Kate?
Oh, I mean, all of them. And then you could even include Oliver and Kate. So,
Hmm. I knew you were gonna ask me ratings. I just didn't realize the categories.
okay.
Let's see. I would want to say like a 7 out of 10, only because some of them you didn't see as much
Yeah.
chemistry, or they didn't have enough screen time
Yeah.
for like that chemistry. Like the parents,
Mm-hmm.
they had like little bits here and there, and
Yeah.
Thomas came in as a supporting husband, but you didn't get to really see the two of them connect that much. And then I liked Oliver and Kate together.
Yeah. For me, I gave the plot and script 8 out of 10, chemistry 8 out of 10, and then Christmas feels on a scale of 1 to 10. What would you rate that?
Ooh, I'd say maybe like an 8.5 or a 9, because
Okay.
it brought in a lot of different, like the festive
Yeah.
pancakes, the Santa candy making, like they were Santa, um, and then having the lobster trap tree,
Mhm.
like Christmas, that's what they do up in that part of
Yeah.
Nova Scotia and stuff. So just like it was theirs, but um, like it also didn't have like the traditional like snowball fights or
Yeah.
snowman making or snow angels, but it tied in a lot of the Christmas festivities.
Yeah.
But also it was a lot more like wintry in some of
Mhm.
the scenes too.
Yeah. I agree. And then overall, what would you rate it on a scale of 1 to 10?
So I'd say 8, because
Okay.
there were some like one of the loop or what is it called? Plot holes, I guess. So one of the plot holes for me was that they were digitally sending these letters, and I'm like, how did they get like the email addresses, stuff
Oh,
like
yeah.
that? Like, it's like you have their address, but I don't know if they send in like unless they
Oh,
have like a
yeah.
phone number or something like
That's a good
that plot
point.
hole. Like, and then there was like the family
Mhm.
drama. Like, I would have loved them to come together a little bit more, but it's one that I can watch over and over again and enjoy. I would have
Yeah.
loved to see a little bit more of like Nova Scotia, but it just looks so beautiful, and
Yeah.
it made me really want to go to Nova Scotia.
Yeah.
And I ended up spending time researching new traditions and learning more about like Canada or Nova Scotia,
Mhm.
and it just piqued my interest. So, in a way, it brought me like into it. It made me appreciate Nova Scotia and made me want to visit there, which I think is part of like what a movie does. It
Yeah.
inspires you.
Yeah. I agree. And that was a good point about the plot hole. So I agree with that. But it was
Yeah,
still a good movie and I still enjoyed it.
yeah, it's movie magic, you know.
Yes.
Sometimes there's just no explanation. It's movie
Yes.
magic.
Yeah. I think overall for me, I would give it 8 out of 10 as well. And that was
Okay.
one reason why. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, this was so much fun, Christina. Thank you for joining me. It's always a great time having you on.
Yes, thank you so much for having me. I
Of
enjoyed this
course.
movie and this time with you.
Of course. I cannot wait to have you back on again in the future.
Yes.
All right, Hallmarkies, I think that wraps up our review of Christmas Island. If you enjoyed this episode, you can like this video and share your thoughts on the movie in the comments. If you want to stay up to date on all of my movie reviews, you can subscribe to this channel and make sure to turn on the bell so you are alerted when new episodes come. Thank you so much for listening. We hope you have a great day or night wherever you are in the world, and we will see you next time. We love y'all. Bye.